it's been moved and seconded to send a cease and desist letter to the owner of 201A Tremont Street. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're approved unanimously. All right. Request for extension, Patriot Pines.
Yeah, that was one that, they've been before us a couple times. And what happened is they had a couple of planning board issues because of being residential. Anyway, so they haven't been able to do the construction that's stalled, so they just need an extension of the work.
This is the one across from the airport.
Yes.
Yeah, and actually our involvement was minor. Remember, there was a little depression, and then they came back and they were within 100 feet of stuff on the golf course.
Yeah, they got their own
Next to it,
site.
so it's not like, for
Right.
us, it's not a big, so they just need to extend.
They took that depression away, right?
Right.
How long are they looking for the extension of it?
The extension, it's usually for a year. But you can make it, you can do 3 years. But they think like that whole extension act extended things for, they probably only need a year.
Well, let's give them a year and see what
All
happens.
right, I'll make that motion.
All right, it's been moved to give a 1-year extension. Do we have a second?
A second.
Jim seconds. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
Would you make a note, Ashley, that that's the DEP SE 126553?
Okay, solar project update at the DEP SE 126-584. We had an impromptu visit to the solar project by the Berry guys on South Main Street, on Tremont Street in South Carver. And it was based primarily on a lot of questions that had been circulating in town about why we were growing telephone poles. So we went and met with Sarah Stearns from Beals and Thomas and Ian Shaw? Ward. Ian Ward. I don't know why I didn't remember that. And 2 representatives from Pine Gate Renewables. And they took us, they showed us why they were doing what they had to do. They did ground penetrating radar because they were putting pilings in and not finding anything hard. And with the ground penetrating radar, they found that in some areas of the bogs, the peat was 25 feet deep. And they would need to get huge long lengths of steel and then cut to length, to fit them, which would create a lot of waste as well. Whereas the telephone pole were already at those lengths, and they're much easier to cut and a lot less expensive to not use the top. So it's a change in what they had told us originally. They have a separate project that they're doing on Rochester Road, and that all along has been telephone poles. And that was part of their plan, so they're basically just doing the same thing on Tremont Street that they're doing on Rochester Road. And it certainly made sense from the standpoint of being efficient, and it's a standard telephone pole, so it has, it's just the same thing as putting a phone pole on the side of the road.
Are they submitting a revised plan?
They're going to do a as-built.
Okay.
That's what we talked about, having them do an as-built. And we went to the back of their project where they're further along, where they have the poles all set and they already have the cross pieces that rotate on the poles, and there's a small bog area that they're doing first, and they're using that almost as their classroom. Mm-hmm. As they learn things there, they're incorporating their new knowledge onto the larger area.
Are these the ones that move with the sun?
Yes.
They'll adjust?
Yeah, they'll all move with the sun, and it was pretty fascinating to see.
That would be.
Very impressive.
Yeah, all the hardware, the big aluminum pieces they have, the turning mechanisms, And the nice thing about the phone poles is they can utilize their aluminum structures that hold the panels. They can adjust them on the telephone poles and just bolt them in wherever they need to. They don't need pre-drilled holes that they would have in steel and make it to make everything work. So
Much more efficient.
it really was a great solution for a problem they didn't foresee. So
If you looked at the project from overhead, from the street, it looks a little funky because of the angle you're on. But as you walk down off of Tremont Street, walk down the side road when you head into the cement plant, the rows of telephone poles are perfect. They put mats down. You would, aside from the very first 2 rows maybe, from
Yep.
closest to the street, because that was the in and out to everything, you'd never know they were in that block.
Wow.
So there's no damage to the berries, there's no damage to the vines, there's no damage, it's incredible. They pulled the mats back up and everything's springing right back to life like they were never there to start with. So they really have done an incredibly good job. It's also a big plus that, well, you can tell them about Williams, that they've
yes, Williams
Project
has bowed out of the project. So the actual footprint of the project is about 2/3 as
Oh, that's
large
right, yeah, yeah.
as it was. So it's less
Even
of an
better.
impact.
Yeah, less intrusive.
it's much smaller.
So, they'll do that as part of their as-built plan as well, once they know exactly what they're doing. And
Which part are they not doing?
the one that's further back by Wareham.
Oh, yes, okay.
It's the farthest one away from Tremont Street that they're not doing. What Alan said about the fact that things are growing back, one of the reasons they took us to the back bog was that they had worked on that first, and then mats are already up, and the vines are already growing back. You know, as he said, almost like nothing's
They were
happened.
never there.
No,
And
it's
they're
trying
gonna
to do
wet
the
pick.
same thing.
Yeah,
Because I asked that question, you're gonna dry pick or wet pick? They're gonna wet pick.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's,
all
that's
good.
pretty good.
All good.
Right, so there's no requirement for a vote on this, it's informational of what they're doing. Does anybody have any questions?
When did you guys go? See what?
We went on Saturday, a week ago,
We do it Saturday.
Saturday morning. Yeah, it was just sort of impromptu. And because there was no time really to host it, we had
Plus
to.
Alan got to go, so that was,
Yeah,
usually you have to miss.
usually I miss them.
Yeah, you're working.
But I'm sorry, Jim, anybody, if you want to go, just give Sarah a shout, or Ian a shout,
Yes.
and they'll take you and they'll show you. You will be impressed. It really is.
Yeah, I'd like to
They're
see
doing
it.
a hell of a
Yeah.
job. They really
I
are.
was stopped in about 2 weeks ago and looked at it. I wanted to see.
Did you go all the way to the back?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what we asked Sarah and Ian to do is when they have some panels up,
Yes.
to contact us so we can all go out and look at
Oh,
it again,
good.
to see
Good,
what
good.
the rest of it's
Oh,
gonna look like.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
real good. We can do it on
So-
a regular site walk. And
Yeah, so we asked
Very
them
good.
to let us know when it's a little bit further along, at least their test area,
Yeah,
so we
I'd
can
see
see
it.
how it's gonna look.
Gonna have a reception when it's all opened up and they'll show.
I don't know. It's, it's funny, as Alan said, that as you look at it from the street, it looks like a mishmash of poles.
Yeah. it's-
But as you walk along it, all of a sudden they become rows. It's almost like a military cemetery.
that's what I was thinking of
Where
when
you,
you look at that.
where you look
yeah.
at it, it just looks like random headstones, and then you walk just 5 feet and they're all
Yeah,
rows.
the
And that's
continuity
exactly what
is-
this was like.
Unless the panels are on,
Once the panels are on, it's gonna tie it all together, there's no question about it.
There are a couple that are crooked, they'll straighten them up when they start doing the
Right, and even if they're a little bit crooked, they can shave the top and the side to make it plump, flush and plump. So,
Impressive.
which is a lot easier with wood than steel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, the next item for discussion is is once again our friendly culvert at Cranebrook. I was in Maine when Ida hit here.
Oh,
And I got a phone call at about 7:30 in the morning from John Mason, who is, he's kind of has the key to adjust the level at the culvert, saying that things were not good.
uh-oh.
And about a half hour later, I got a phone call from Rob Andrews, who lives on Sampson's Pond, telling me that his dock was underwater. And I had earlier gotten a photo from my cousin of my boat, which was also underwater.
No more vacation season.
Yeah, I know. But anyway,
Wow.
I think that what we need to do is to bring John Mason in to discuss
Yes.
exactly what happened. From what I understand, it was raining so hard that
Oh, that came down.
that the remaining boards that were in the culvert that he couldn't get out were restricting the water flow so that it built up on the lakeside. And he told me that on that Thursday morning after the rain had stopped, he went out with a sawzall and cut away the last board that had been cemented in place. And he had Sampson's Pond go down 2 inches a day for 3 days. I've never seen it go down that fast. But had that board not been there on Wednesday night, that water would have gone out, and the damage would have been 2 inches less or more,
Yeah.
or
Look
less.
at
So,
like 4.5 inches, so.
right. Now, I talked to another grower who has bogs off of that utilizes Sampson's Pond. He uses water for the bogs, and he also has an outflow that goes back into the bogs. And because the water was so high, his bogs weren't draining, and his berries sat in the water.
Oh, that's not good.
And what he said to me was that he probably lost between 20 and 30% of his crop on that bog
Yeah, not good.
because the water wasn't draining. So I think we need to get John Mason in here to describe better what
Yeah,
has to
everyone can
happen.
hear it,
And then we have to get the Cranebrook people, and somehow that has to go back to the way it was.
Yeah, especially because these storms are more and more frequent.
Well, we got 7 inches of rain.
I understand that.
This was the first time that the drain in my street, which has worked fine, since they did the work on it, didn't work. And so I went in and I was kidding with John Woods, and I said, hey, the street drain failed. And he just chuckled and laughed and said, yeah, everybody's street drain failed.
Yeah, well, they said it
Well-
was a 500-year storm, but they're getting more
It's just- But
common.
we're getting more of these.
Yes.
I understand that.
So maybe there needs to be no wood in that at all. Maybe that just needs to remain flowing.
Maybe.
Or at least removable. The fact it was cemented in was,
Well, the bottom board
It was
was.
Yeah.
always removable, wasn't it?
Yes, but
And
the
then-
bottom board was restricting water flow. It
Right.
couldn't flow out as fast as it needed to.
And that's the one that they cemented down.
I think so. Yeah, that's what John said. But we can bring him in. The other thing that we talked about was the appropriate water level for the pond and what it should be. And I talked to John and I talked to this other grower, and right now the pond is high for this time of year because we've had so many heavy rains. And because we've had rain, the growers haven't needed the water to irrigate. It's been cloudy
Yeah.
a lot, so there hasn't been evaporation.
Yeah.
And people haven't been watering their lawns and pulling water out of the pond to do that. So the water's at a pretty high level now, which made the 7 inches of rain that much more difficult to get rid of. But from what the growers say to me, that the water level now, where it is right now, is a good level to have it before harvest on any given year, because there's enough that they don't have to keep running pipes further and further out to draw water. So I think what we need to do is try to figure out a way to maintain this level if the rains allow, which is probably going to be problematic should we have another 6 or 7 inch rain with people and their dogs. But
But if you can remove the boards,
yes, but still, I mean, it's not going to be ideal. But it is easier for people to adjust their docks than it is for growers not to be able to grow their crop.
the growers need priority.
Yeah, so I think we need to bring John in and have him explain exactly what it was that he needed to do, and then take it from there. But obviously, wherever we stand now is not a good place.
So
So
have them come next week?
if we can have John come in, I think we should hear from John first without
Yeah,
the Cranebrook
yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
kind of figure out what our next steps should be.
Yeah.
And then bring the Cranebrook people in to discuss.
Yeah. I think I have this number, I think I got it from the last one.
I have it if you need it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what's going on, but it's starting to affect the growers now. And I guess, is it Hannula bogs or no? It's the Hardshoot that's right next door?
To,
Cranebrook, between Cranebrook and Danny Warren's.
okay, I'm not sure who owns that. I think
Okay.
Patriot sounds right.
But they were close to being flooded last year before the dam was broken down.
Yeah,
And they were very close again.
it's an
this
ongoing
year.
issue that
Yeah.
needs to be resolved.
Yeah, so that's what we should do. All right, so we'll go to the minutes after the hearings.
Actually, the 7 o'clock is here.
Okay, very good. Okay, new hearings, 318 Tremont Street. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, September 15th, 2021, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted on behalf of R.W. Bryant Realty, LLC, for after-the-fact site improvements at 318 Tremont Street. The proposed work was conducted within the 65 and 100-foot buffer zone to wetland resource area bordering vegetated wetland, cranberry bog, and associated bog canal. A variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Section 9.2.1.3/3, is required for the activities within the 65-foot buffer protected under the bylaw. The project is located at 318 South Tremont Street, Carver, Massachusetts, map 127, lot 10-1. All interested parties are invited to attend. Good evening.
Good evening. Brad Bertolo, JC Engineering, Wareham, Mass. On behalf of R.W. Bryant Realty, LLC.
Brooke, do we have plans?
Oh, yeah.
Could we share them?
Yeah, no, I want to invite you to this. Did you bring another by any chance, Brad? Oh, I think I got.
Yeah, I have.
I've got,
Better not tell me you only got 2.
I've got 3. And I just asked for every number.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, thank you, that makes it so much
We're good.
easier. Thank
Good.
you.
Alan can't yell at me again.
Do you need another copy?
So it seems we're growing asphalt down there.
We are. Again, Brad Bertolo, JC Engineering, on behalf of R.W. Bryant. I believe Ben Bryant was in in front of this commission about a couple months ago, soon after the work took place. And this plan is a follow-up based upon that discussion at that hearing. The site's at 318 Tremont Street, currently contains 2 steel buildings, commercial property with paved driveway. As you can see on the plan, highlighted in blue up here on the stand here, site's surrounded by cranberry bogs, active cranberry bogs across the street and to the rear of the building, and there's a bog canal, irrigation canal, I guess, to the south of the structure. A majority of the site is outside of the 100-foot, pretty much the buildings and some of the interior parking. But the work that took place involving the paving did occur within 100 foot of these cranberry bogs and ditch, as well as a portion of it within the 65 foot to the irrigation canal. That's to the southern side of the property. I have on plan highlighted a yellow section there that is the pavement that's within the 65 feet. And I've also bolded up a black line that represents where the original pavement line was prior to work taking place. The site currently, for the most part, drains from north to south. There are a couple catch basins out at the start of the driveway, and there is to the southern corner of the property a small detention pond. Is currently a drainage pipe that drains into that area, and I believe was part of the original design when the southern building was built, and that was back in mid-90s. There is the second building that's to the north was approved under an order conditions, I think back in 2008. So we are before you tonight requesting permission for work that has taken place, and as part of the work within the 65-foot buffer zone, we're looking to propose some mitigation for that expansion that took place. The area between the former pavement and the irrigation canal is to the south, pretty much a grassy area. It's used as access to get to the bogs in the back. It's not a gravel roadway, but you can see the tire ruts through the grass. Currently, right now, it's the same grass. The area just to the south of the current pavement, which is bermed up with Cape Cod berm to kind of direct water towards the back of the property and maybe towards the front of the property. Just south of that Cape Cod berm is currently a grassed slope. We're proposing to plant with a number of woody species that might be appropriate for the area to provide more vegetation in that area to help, infiltrate, slow any runoff coming off of that slope and help it benefit any of the species in the area. Again, this is an after the fact. I have on plan highlighted where I believe the original pavement was. We came in after the fact, so I utilized aerial surveys or aerial photography for the original pavement line, which is highlighted in a light gray hatch. And I also have a dotted hatch showing the current pavement. The pavement across the back did not expand any closer to the bog than the current concrete pad, the former heliport pad or helicopter pad. So that area is all outside of the 65-foot no-touch zone. And again, in that area is also grassed from the pavement down to the bog. No grade changes appear to take place in that area, so I believe drainage patterns stay the same. In regards to the grading towards the south, I believe there's probably some minor grade changes to get the driveway to pitch, kind of maintain the driveway pitch in that yellow highlighted area, but there didn't appear to be much fill necessary in that portion of the project. If the commission has any questions on the project, I'm happy to answer.
Anyone?
What are the plans with the property?
They're utilizing it for their business, so they have a number of utility trucks. They're a cable contractor, so they have a lot of, assuming bucket trucks. I drove by this evening and saw the parking on the facility, on the property.
Mr. Badger, you had raised your hand.
Yeah, so everything we're looking at is now done, including the fencing. This is all, everything we're talking about is after the fact. There isn't anything in here that is yet to be done.
No, there's nothing yet to be done, no.
So the fence is in the
Fence is in the property.
That's in too,
yeah.
and there are permits for that.
Well, it'd be part of, that's also included, I forgot to mention.
I mean, outside this commission, there's there's a permit to put the fencing in as well.
I don't believe that would need a building permit being under, typical 6-foot or 5-foot, I think it's 6-foot chain link fence.
Okay.
Well, the plans say proposed.
Yeah, well, it's not proposed anymore.
It's not.
This is a forgiveness application.
Well, that's what I was asking, of the things,
Let's get that straight right off the bat.
okay.
This is we're gonna put in anything we want, just like everybody else has been doing lately, and then we'll come back in when it's all done, and it's all done. I've driven by this place 15 times. The fence goes all the way around the entire building, and we're growing asphalt. So, just so everybody is aware, this is what we would never permit on any other site in this town, under any circumstances.
Agreed. I'm looking at the 65 wetland offset. We don't have 65, we're 100 feet. in
We got
Carver.
fencing that's on top of the bogs.
We are in Carver,
Right.
100 feet, not 65. You are way out of.
100 requires our permission, 65
Yes,
requires the
which
variance.
I realize that, but when you start off that close with 65 and
But
then
this
ask
was already
permission.
there. I mean, all of this stuff was pretty much there.
No,
No.
sorry, it was not.
No, but the pavement is, I mean, the buildings were there, it was the.
The fencing was not
The
there.
firefly thing.
But
Yeah,
the yellow area on that drawing is new pavement in the 65
right.
foot.
No, that drawing's incorrect. The north building had grass out in the front. There was no pavement, that's now paved. So
No.
that falls into the 100 from across the street. The south building had, that shaded area is all it was existing pavement. This
No, I know,
shaded area.
No, what I'm saying is that's what's new within
No,
65.
this was,
Right.
that's just highlighting the 65.
And I believe we paved down this other side now too, that you
I
guys
can-
are calling gravel. crushed
I can
stone.
show,
On the far north side of that property, I'm pretty sure, isn't that also paved now?
That-
was like a gravel, I don't recall it being pavement. I wasn't on the property, but, recently, but when we did the survey.
Sure as hell looks like pavement to me, but I could be wrong.
Well, there's,
It was a gravel base on the north side in this area here.
Yes.
Yeah, again, this green line is 100 foot, and we're where anything within 100 feet is under the jurisdiction, and that's the green line in this location here. And yes, there was pavement in front of this building, and
But there was grass in front of the other building.
I thought that there was pavement going right, on the south building, I thought there was pavement going right up to the building itself. This-
It was,
It
that was
is.
a parking area.
Yeah,
It is,
It's just this indicates-
But there was grass out front and there was a drive area that went down the south side of that building.
The
Yeah.
tinted
Not as
area is
wide
what
as
was
it
there
is now.
before.
okay,
And anything with the sort of speckled is paved now.
okay, yeah, okay, I thought this later was representing gravel, so, okay, got you.
and I tried to hatch the different, so we kind of compare between pre and post.
I appreciate the
There's been an awful
pre-existing,
lot of
but
Taking advantage here
Yeah.
and not notifying anyone. And the disturbing part is that when these kinds of plans gets drawn, everybody that's in this business knows that Carver is bogs, Carver is wetlands, and this stuff has to come before a commission. We had to request this gentleman to come in before us and say, what the hell are you doing? And then it becomes an after the fact, geez, I'm sorry, we'll file an NOI. Well, but it's already done, so are we supposed to say no now, take the pavement out? That's ridiculous.
But that's what you asked him to do. When he first came in, that's what we asked him to do, is to do it after the fact.
Right.
So,
So we could make a determination. We didn't tell them.
We didn't tell them we were gonna approve it, and I'm not crazy about a fence that runs all the way around the property.
Well, the first thing is almost all of the fence, at least on the west, south, and east sides, are within the either 100 or 65 foot. So the bottom 2 feet has to be critter available, has to have 4 by 6 maximum, minimum opening, so critters can get through.
yeah, does it?
No. it's
No.
I think it's a standard chain link
It's a chain
security,
link, right?
security
Okay.
fence, I don't
So-
want to.
So
All right,
that's
so
gotta
that's
change.
not-
With barbed wire. on
That's
top.
gotta be changed.
So that's the first thing, and that's anywhere within 100 feet. So that's pretty much the north, west, south, and east sides.
Actually, it's within the 65 on
Yeah, and all the way
Yeah.
around to
the
the,
east and
and
the
the
south.
south, yes, it is.
It's within the 100 on the west,
Right.
and that little tiny bit of jaunt you got is the same thing, so.
Yeah.
You know, you've only got a little tiny bit of this that's not.
That's not within the 100 feet. So that has to be, the bottom 2 feet have to be critter fence.
That's 4 feet, 4 feet foot.
Is it 4 feet?
Is it 4 feet? I think it was 2. I'll have to check.
All right,
Yeah.
to check on that.
Yeah. How about all the pavement, though? We've got a lot of pavement there.
Well,
I mean, I realize some of this was pre-existing, but,
But now we have trucks, bucket trucks, commercial vehicles parking on the pavement, and the pavement's got a pitch, and the pitch has got, no matter where, I get the Tremont Street's right there, I'm not an idiot.
Yep.
I understand that.
Yep.
But you've got a existing canal and bog drop off on the south and the east side of that property. So what is gonna happen in this existing drainage area that can mitigate any
Thank you.
contamination getting into the bogs?
yep.
Something needs to be done there
Interceptor.
to
Yeah,
keep
everything-
that,
yeah.
whether it's an MDC trap kind of, when something's gotta be there to keep contaminated materials from entering into the bogs. Because it's not fair to the abutters.
Is there anything there now? Because I mean, it was built to be a little detention.
Yeah, it was
basin.
built as a
Kept
drainage
all up.
basin.
So I don't know if
Built
it has
20
like
years
traps
ago.
or anything in there or not.
I don't believe so. There's, I saw a single pipe with
Yeah.
a discharge. It could be coming from a roof dry well. A lot of the roof, the gutters go into the ground.
Yeah.
So they could be collected. Again, this was 25, 26 years ago.
Yeah, you'd have to. I mean, there were no trucks there before. There was a helicopter with land, and they
Helicopters.
wheel it inside the building.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like we had equipment. I just think that, and we're coming up to current standards anyhow. When these buildings were built,
Right.
you know, they were nowhere near the environmental impacts that there are today.
Can you do that? Can you fix the drainage area? Or like,
A lot of
I
it's,
think-
a lot of it's overland runoff right now. There is a Cape Cod berm along the whole southern portion.
As
And
long
it's,
as you can get that water to end up in that existing drainage area, because it can't come up over that berm, and whatever drains in from the street is just what drains in from the street. It's gotta not end up in the bog.
I could look at the back grading along the back. It does pitch to the south towards the
Expand this.
drainage basin. I know that the black line shown on my plan where the original pavement, actually between the yellow and the green line here, there is a Cape Cod berm that runs the whole southern
Yeah.
way. And I'm proposing a small little riprap trench right on the end here, because the water is pitching
That's already,
towards that detention basin. So to alleviate any potential runoff, it's provided a gravel strip to help infiltrate and slow some of the runoff before entering the detention basin.
there's a manhole rim, you see that?
Yeah.
Up here.
Is there a containment plan for this fuel tank that's on the northeast corner, on the northeast corner of the northern
Probably
building?
grandfathered,
The fuel tank's in a concrete tank. It's
It's
a
in
fuel
a-
tank
it's in
within
a-
a self-contained.
Tank.
Containment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Fuel
a-
tank in a concrete
it's-
structure.
It's above ground too.
There's an awful lot of new pavement.
So, Saber, man,
go right ahead.
Saber and I were just talking, I'm gonna come up to that point. Saber's gonna be a little tougher on you than I am. Why couldn't we allow him to expand this to give him more of a drainage area? And then Savory wants to see this replicated, I think you said here?
Yeah, within the 65 feet on the east side.
Yeah. So I think that's a good idea, so you know what I'm saying?
So-
Replicate
so
this.
More mitigation along the
Up
back
here.
rear.
Expand this out so that it'll take more of the runoff, and then Savory will tell you the good part about his next thing.
Yeah, that would be work within the 65 feet if that, the commission's, I didn't
Well,
propose
so
anything.
is the, so is the,
So in the fence,
so is the plantings that you want to do.
Yeah, because that was like kind of in between work that was within the 65 feet.
Right.
The pavement out back behind the building is all outside the 65 feet, so.
he wants to do this
I understand that, but you're not,
on here.
well,
That's perfectly reasonable. Again, I came in after the fact here, I would have proposed this ahead of time and got permits, we do this in every
Yeah.
town. We got the call after this was done.
I understand that, I understand.
Yeah,
Yes, it's outside of 65 feet, but a lot of it's in the 100. And we still have jurisdiction over that, based on the Commonwealth's laws.
Yep.
So you're saying you also want to do this, but you want to do this up on this line and not back here?
No, I want to do it within the 65
Okay,
foot,
that's what I thought. Okay,
between the 65 foot and the fence.
I got you.
I wouldn't go up to the concrete pad. I don't think that's necessary. I would do it within the 65. The other thing I would like to see, but this is me, because based on what Mr. Germain had said about forgiveness, people doing what they want, and then coming to us and saying, well, it's already done. You got to give me a break. On your drawing, the black line that you have on your drawing
Yep.
indicates where the former paved area was.
Pavement line, yes.
Between that black line and the area that you're going to plant with native species, it looks to me like it's approximately 11 feet wide. It goes from 57 feet to 41 feet, or to 46 feet,
Yeah.
based on your drawing.
Yep.
I'd like that pavement to go away.
Strip out everything outside the 60.
Yep, because the other, the existing pavement that's tinted there would in effect be grandfathered, because it was there before.
Previously there.
Yeah, but the 11 feet of pavement that is now between where the old pavement was and the current edge of the southern edge of the pavement, I think that should go away. It's not going to affect too much as far as square footage, but it is going to, it's the most affected area within the 65 feet that I think that we can ask for, because the previous was grandfathered in. So, does anybody else have any other
I agree with you. I
suggestions?
think we should.
That looks good.
So that's
What do you
strictly
think
new
about
pavement.
expanding that drainage area?
I like the idea of expanding the drainage area. I think that in conjunction with the additional native plantings within the 65 feet. I think expanding the existing drainage area within the 65 feet on the eastern side, that can be made as large as you think it needs to be, based on how much pavement is here now and how much water flow you think, because we get 7 inches of rain here.
Yeah, I understand.
And then the balance of that's within the 65 feet on that east side would get plantings. But I think to get rid of the 11 feet of pavement that's new,
Down south.
not where it's paved over the former driveway, on the south end should be pulled up.
We can't set dangerous precedents by allowing
No,
these
I
things to
agree.
happen.
You know, as we always say, it's not you, it's the next guy.
What would you want that to be, just back to gravel or?
No, it could go back to grass and it
Yeah,
could be.
I don't have a problem with it going to grass. I don't want them mowing it. I don't want them
Right,
fertilizing it.
it shouldn't be a parking area. It
Right.
should be something
Let it
to,
just run wild,
yeah.
let it
And-
replicate.
Is,
Yeah, and we need our signs put up along the edge
Yeah,
so there
there's
is
gonna
no
be a lot of those.
confusion.
is there a reason why the drainage can't be, if you're gonna expand drainage on that, south, eastern corner, that it can't be, inside that, just outside that 65 and into that 100 offset?
Oh,
Instead of being,
Cement it.
It's paved.
yeah, I know. But we're ripping up here already.
No, you can't. They gotta get out of the back doors of that building,
No, I get that.
And that's outside the 65.
and that's an existing path. You can't
Yeah.
ask them to remove it.
No, but what I'm saying is they're needing to expand drainage, but that's in some respects not our problem. So their drainage can be created on space that they already have in the area that is outside of our jurisdiction. Just because some of this pad already existed, that's not our problem. They can rip.
Pad's grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's not grandfathered is where they're wanting to expand this drainage.
I get that.
So
But it makes sense to
That's-
put the new drainage next to where it's existing, one, to make the existing one bigger.
To make the existing one larger, I would, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And the slope tends to go towards that southeast corner as well.
Uh-huh.
And you've got a lot of new pavement behind the northern building. So you want the quickest way for that water to get to a holding.
yeah, no, I get that. I think it could be tighter toward that
Well,
building.
I mean, we've seen these drainage areas. They're useful when they're used, but when they're not, they grow weeds and
Yeah.
plants.
Ponytails
And it's going to go back to nature, and it will fill up when we have rains that are enough to fill it. But I think that's a good solution to increase the size of the drainage area to accommodate what might be considered a heavy rainfall on all of this new paved area.
The only reason I bring it up is, and maybe this could be something in the order of conditions, I don't know, but once that line is created and designated here on the plans, there needs to be something in the order of conditions that can't be expanded in terms of increasing pavement,
Yeah.
And that's where,
grandfathered or not.
that's where our signs go in.
Yeah.
The
Right,
signs
yes, we
need to
can
be
say that
placed.
because that's all within 100 feet.
And we.
Yeah.
The current edge of the
put that-
pavement.
Yeah, we put a standard condition saying anything not on the approved plan, we have to come back. So in other words, if they're
Yeah.
gonna try to, expand the pavement, they.
Because we're gonna need a new plan before we approve
Oh,
this
yeah.
anyway.
For however much teeth that has.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
talking
too much
about,
to modify.
There's too much to change here
Yeah.
to vote tonight.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna need new
ask
plans.
if this is
Yeah.
what you do, you're welcome to make notes, or we can just take a scratch drawing and come back with a set of plans that we've laid out. Those are what we usually sign now,
Okay.
and you as well, and the owner, if he shows up, will sign, and that's the plan we keep, so that we have a plan that this is what we approve. If it's something simple, we just make the change and we ask that you initial it, but this is.
I'd rather go back to the office
There's a whole
and
bunch
lay it out.
of stuff going on here
And you
now.
need to look at your drainage stuff,
Yep.
he needs to
Yeah.
size it out.
And I'd like to see wetland signs at least every 8 feet along the 65.
Okay.
Yeah?
And then on the southern part, because some of that 65 is where there's pavement, the wetland sign should be right at the edge of the pavement.
Of the-
We are asking to remove the pavement.
Right,
look
where
at
the
that,
former,
Yes.
Put it
where the-
right there.
right on the
Yeah.
edge of where the former driveway was.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just have one question. In the south west corner, there's a manhole. Is that, what kind of access is needed
I'll-
for that?
It's just a manhole cover to grade. I didn't look at to see what type of structure it
Okay.
is. I don't think it's drainage.
Okay, all right, so as long as it's as accessible.
Oh, it's a cover to grade, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, and I would continue that, that line at the 57-foot 8, I would continue that all the way to the fence that's on Tremont Street, even though,
Yeah, 57.8 to 57.3. Right there.
Right here. That stretch down, stretch. Oh, yeah.
Follow this.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. We're up for-
Yeah, yeah.
Right there.
You know, that's
Yeah, yeah. No. And then you want some back here. Yeah.
okay. So,
So this gets continued.
this
Yeah.
gets continued. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, we have The changes we want done, we want the drainage area enlarged along the eastern side of the property to accommodate whatever water may be now becoming that direction because of the new pavement. We are going to remove the pavement at approximately 57 foot 8 to 41 foot 1 inch on the southwest side of the pavement that's within the 65 foot. We're going to do the existing slope as is indicated here with the blueberries. Where in the area that is within the 65 foot no touch zone on the eastern side that is not included in the expanded drainage area, we're going to put native plants there. And we're going to somehow address the, after Brooke finds out the answer, the critter fence, which is, which would be, would need to be rectified anywhere within the 100 foot. So those are the four main things. Did I forget anything?
Sounds good.
Are we gonna enforce that out front also? Because it's on Tremont Street? I would say just the sides and the back.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't
So the
think we can
fence?
do the critter fence.
Yeah, I don't think we.
No, we don't want them
on
crossing
Tremont
Tremont Street.
No.
Okay.
'Cause then, you know,
Yeah,
they come on through, they
splat.
gotta get through that critter fence and end up over at Tremont
Well,
Street.
they-
But the other way, they might
Then
be
they
on
get
Tremont
hit.
Street looking for a way out.
They're probably gonna get whacked. on
No,
Tremont
I'm
Street.
fine with that. I'm fine with that. Just doing it on the south and
This
east.
way it keeps the front of the place looking like it, you know.
Right.
like
So
that.
the south border, the east border, and a little bit of the northwest corner up to the 100 feet on the north side. Okay. Anything else that we forgot?
That's it.
All right.
Make a motion to continue the hearing for 318 Tremont Street, DEPSC 126628. Julie, how much time do you need?
Next one's October 6th.
Couple weeks, yeah, next one should be fine, yeah.
Yes, 3 weeks from tonight. So-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that.
October 6th.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to continue the 318 Tremont Street, NOI DEPSE 126-628 until our next meeting on October 6th, 2021. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none? No.
Thank you, I appreciate
Would you
your comments.
just- Would you sign in, please, on that sheet?
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll let you know about the first fence.
Yeah, I'll call you.
I thought it was
I
2.
thought it was 2 feet.
I thought it was 2, because that's what we,
It's high.
I thought it was 4 by 4 and it was 2 feet, or
Yeah.
4
4 by 6 and 2 feet high, because we talked about that with the bennies.
Oh, you know who gave us that?
That's
It was
right, it
on-
was the Denny's.
On a couple of the solar projects, Sarah's,
Yeah.
I'll ask Sarah, and just to make sure.
Yep.
4 feet, when you let them go through them, you're underneath your ass, right?
And, well, I know, it's gonna be 4 feet
It's an
outside.
awful tall raccoon. if you ask me.
It's those little critters that carry ladders so they can get up before they can go across. All right, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
All right, next up, 105 Rochester Road. Notice, this is there's no SE,
No, it's an
oh, it's an RDA, okay. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:30 PM on Wednesday, September 15th, 2021, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the request for determination of applicability, an RDA, for the construction of a farm pond at Foley Farm. The work is proposed in order to increase the volume of the existing farm pond that services the Cranberry Bog operation. Under 310 CMR 10.04 C1G, the work qualifies as normal improvement of land under agricultural use and exempt under the WPA regulations. The project is located at 105 Rochester Road, Carver, Massachusetts, map 96, lot 10-0-R. All interested parties are invited to attend.
Thank you. For the record, Scott Fennar with Grady Consulting. Is this thing on?
Doesn't sound like it.
Oh, you can hear me. Also with me is the owner, Paul Foley.
Hi.
So we submitted an RDA for work in land under agricultural use. So the existing lot here, there's a farm pond and there are some bogs on the property as well. And what we'd like to do is we would like to construct a farm pond in order to serve the cranberry bogs. And this activity is exempt under 310 CMR. So I'll keep it brief and open up to any questions.
This is down by the bridge, right?
Sure.
This is where you're gonna put blueberries out there?
Blueberries, yeah, I think he should have said blueberries, not cranberries.
So this is, he basically, you know, really didn't have to even submit the idea, because typically, work in agricultural, we just need to be notified.
Yep.
But he's being, you know.
We appreciate the
Yes, we do.
attention to
The
detail.
other guy.
Thank you. Thank you.
The other guys they talk about all the time.
Yeah.
You get the first okey dokey of the night.
Yeah.
Now, this is down where they're taking all the sand out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we walked around that, because that's a small pond just south of that, correct?
No, this is on the way in off the street, this is on the left. It's just a small.
No, I know, but,
pond.
yeah, but the,
Keep driving straight in, you go into where they're pulling the sand.
right. Okay,
I don't have a problem with this.
no, I don't either.
No, it looks
It's
good.
just basically to expand the pond so it's more.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, hey, more wetlands, no
All right,
problem.
do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the IDA for 105 Rochester Road as drawn on the plan.
So you're issuing negative determination.
I'll get to that.
Okay, I just.
As drawn on the plan, August 12, 2021, for a negative determination. Only the government could give you a positive or a negative.
On a negative,
And the
yeah.
negative's a good one.
Do we have a second? We have a second with Peg. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second on a negative determination for the RDA at 105 Rochester Road on the plans submitted or done on August 12, 2021. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. All right.
Sign yours?
Yep, I will sign this, and then we'll,
Are you filing with the earth removal also to handle the removal of the earth from the enlarging pond?
Pardon?
What do you intend to do with the earth that you are removing to make the pond larger?
sign it, then I'll bring it.
Yeah, they were the original when we submitted for the gravel permit, Grady did that for us as well.
Okay.
Yep.
This is all positive. Nice, positive.
I have to sign that, the.
Yeah, did they need original furniture?
I believe they will, yes.
Or only a small amount like that?
Well, how much is going to be removed?
Probably about 30,000 yards
Oh,
in total.
actually, over 5,000, yeah, I think you need to do a permit.
But if they're using the sand for their own use on site,
I think they still need a permit, just as filed, but
So we do have a permit already in place.
Yes,
We're
that's-
almost wrapped up with that, and we didn't, the original permit specified 65,000 yards. We
Yeah.
didn't pull out the 65, we were about 40,000 yards. So I was thinking, if I had to
We'll do
if I
it
had to go in
short.
front of the gravel removal.
Believe me, I didn't pick
yes,
it.
I will. But we didn't meet our threshold
Thank you,
visually,
lefty.
so I was hoping that I could just take this 20,000, 30,000 out on my original permit, but if I have to, I know that's not your board, but if I have to go in front of those folks, I will.
but you might want to talk to the chairman of that
Yeah.
board, and,
that's the
now
sign.
Bob Ironimo.
Yep.
He may be doing the removal, is he?
Might be able just to do, you might be able just to amend the original one. You-
Might be, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, give the chair a call. and-
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you
Good
for,
looking project back there.
Yeah.
That's really good.
yeah, thank you for coming in. That's,
Yeah.
it's,
I hope all goes well with the blueberry.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for the blueberries.
Yeah.
all All right, so the next thing is the utility right-of-way?
That's
Oh,
continued, right?
Continue.
Continue.
Yeah,
Okay.
And 287 Tremont?
Is continued.
Oh, that's
Continued.
continued, but they want to be continued to November 17th.
Huh?
Yeah, they got things, I don't know, many things, and I don't know. They
Okay.
might have to refile this, but I saw an email from Jim saying something about refiling.
But that's too late to get ice cream.
It is,
Listen,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, they'll be selling it off soon.
Yeah, that's true.
we'll be closing shortly. You want to do minutes?
Around Columbus Day. Well, before we do the minutes, one of the handouts Brooke gave us was from Brendan Annette that we didn't talk about beforehand
For Lakeview?
for Lakeview.
Yeah,
Do we have to?
just a suggestion.
Well, I think we should.
And just to let you know,
Number one.
Is the adjacent property available?
Yeah.
but just to let you know, he's looking at a bunch of a few other things,
Oh,
like Cedar Swamp stuff.
oh, the Great South
Grass
Meadow
stuff,
Cedar Swamp.
Yeah. Anyway,
You've got files
To
and
be
files
continued.
on that.
Okay.
Many files downstairs on that. Do you, are you
Um,
were they-
purchasing the Deacon's Point.
You didn't put
Ooh.
the, you didn't put his little drawing?
Yeah, and get a drawing out of the way.
Oh, okay. Because he had attached a drawing on my email at
Oh,
least.
we did, oh, I didn't see the drawing.
We
Yeah.
got an email, we didn't?
Oh, I didn't get a drawing.
Got something.
Yeah, Savory Special.
Yeah.
Well, he had to
You sent
run,
it to me,
he had to
Brooke.
run the conservation meeting for me, so.
No, you ran the meeting, I answered the phones.
The last time you go away.
Let me just, okay, real quick.
This is pretty much everything we had talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got a plan.
We did way too many of these things.
I even like the idea of the split rail fence if we, with the next door.
And did Bob Belvin contact you to let you know who he would help move things out?
What?
Yeah. Well, he came in to tell me that if we needed help to maintain the property, he's on it.
Yeah, regarding, us getting help from other groups and getting their advice, that's all great, but we haven't really had a hearing or discussion here as to, development plans, what our vision actually is of it, besides seeking the advice or counsel of other groups and what they do. So, to my understanding, we've only done fact finding, but in terms of, I think going back to the June meeting, we had talked about starting to, amongst ourselves, come up with some ideas and then bring them back to the group to see what sticks and what doesn't, what seems to be a fit, what doesn't, etc.
Nice thing is that winter's coming and we'll see everything's gonna die off for the summer growth. So you get a better idea of what we can and can't do, and what may have to come out.
Good point.
That whole area will look so different
Yeah.
in November
Yeah.
than it looks now.
Yes, it will.
In wintertime, actually, very late winter, early spring is the best time to go in there and start cleaning, if that's what we're gonna plan on doing. Because you're not fighting all that,
True.
ridiculous growth that you'll be fighting now.
All right. Actually, Brooke, the email came from you to me that had the drawing on it, the picture on it. Because it was originally sent, I guess, by Brendan to you, and your email to me was, I never got this originally.
Right, and they didn't.
And it was dated September 9th.
I know, I don't
And
know.
then you sent it to me, here, you said, I never got this, but here's the BBC IDs on Lakeview. I'll make copies for everyone. And there, at the bottom of that, there was a drawing. And they just basically put in a couple of walking paths, one a meandering one sort of through the meadow part, and a straighter path going through the area closest to the COA, through the woods. And they had said they have a cut through on the south end from the parking lot near the COA going into the junction of the two paths, both the meandering path and the straight path. They have another walkway at almost at the beach, a cut through that connects to both paths on the property, leading up to like a gazebo on the point, which Dan had talked about, some view spot at the far end. A lookout. And
Lighthouse could go.
and they suggest on the town beach side of the property, actually not on our property, but on the town beach property, of putting up a fence and plantings to eliminate people climbing up the hill to get that and make sure they follow the path, so that it
Good.
keeps erosion.
Keeps the vegetation alive.
Out. Razor wire. I know where we can get some. I think that, there are some ideas here, and Dan, thank you for reminding me about this. This is something that we've got to talk about, and I think we should put it on our next agenda. Discussing.
Our own ideas on it.
Yes, but I think one of the things we have to talk about is what are we going to do with that house for this winter? Do we turn it off? Do we turn off the water, drain the pipes?
Of course.
Okay.
We're not gonna pay to heat it.
No.
No.
It
Now,
makes no sense.
I mean, is
And
that
I don't know
something?
who's paying the light bill. I know that conservation is not, so it's a burden on the town.
Well, we can from our maintenance fee, I think.
So, yeah, regarding some low-hanging fruit stuff that really wouldn't either cost much, or we can get in-kind labor from contractors, would be, and it takes time to schedule these things, because if they are doing it in in-kind fashion, it's gonna be maybe in a month from now,
We
whatever.
can go over there on a Saturday with you, we can blow out every one of the water pipes. I'll bring us a portable compressor.
That stuff, sure. I'm talking about some of the limbs and stuff that could cause problems during winter storms and things like that. That really should be, there should be a bit of a buffer with all because they're not just squirrel highways now. They're, limbs, leaders that come out that could cause damage to the house itself.
Right. All right, so why don't we each write down
Yeah.
things that we need to, if we could all at our leisure go by the place and look at it
There's a
and see.
discussion of ideas for Lakeview.
Yeah, things that we think need to be done, things that we'd like to have done, but certainly things that need to be done to winterize and to protect the building for the winter. So if we can put that on the agenda for next one discussion. And at the same time, I had a meeting today with Rick and Mary Ross about pickleball, which is going maybe into the old tennis courts.
Okay.
And that's going to impact parking in that area, because there's not enough parking for both the COA and pickleball. So
Very popular sport, though.
it is. It's getting very popular. And
There's plenty of expansion capability there.
well,
It's outside the 100, it's far enough away, it could very easily be expanded for parking. And if the suggestion is they start using some of the property at 44 Lake.
No, it's
I would
not.
be against it.
no, it's not. It's not at all. But it's. Well, we'll talk about it more. But it's.
That place could turn into a parking lot real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You're
it's
right.
not. It's not at all. It's right now we're adjacent to the tennis courts, where the road is parallel to the tennis courts. It's wide enough for 2 lanes of traffic and parallel parking. So there's talk about maybe expanding that.
There's grass out front of the tennis courts that can easily be trimmed back and gravelled and make that expanded.
That's
And
under consideration as
Far
well.
enough away from any of the pond and stuff, so you're not.
Yeah, that's outside our
That's
jurisdiction.
outside the jurisdiction, gives the town less to mow,
Right.
Yes.
so.
And well, there are some ideas that are floating out there. Obviously, there's no funding at this point
No,
to get this done, but Fuss
On
and
the wish
O'Neill is
list.
working on plans should you know, this may be something that goes in front of CPC
Yeah, CPC funds
in
would
the
be
spring.
perfect use for, yeah.
for, as part of the recreation
Yeah.
budget, so. But,
The high school hasn't sucked it all up.
Nice.
okay, so now minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as written for the September 1st, 2021 meeting.
Do we have a
I
second?
just, no, I'm just gonna mention one thing that I had mentioned prior to the meeting, and that was correcting the spelling of Lenore's first name.
We fixed that.
And that's already been done from our very efficient recording secretary.
Okay,
But I don't know if we technically need to mention that, but it's already been accomplished.
So that would be as amended then.
Yeah, just on the technicality.
That's the only thing.
That was it. Yeah, that's all I saw.
all right.
So second,
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as amended for September 1st, 2021. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
Abstain. So it's one abstention.
Oh, that's right, I wasn't here. 401.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we're out.
Thank you.
Off.